Good morning and happy Easter. I'm so deeply grateful to be here in our beautiful sanctuary this morning, a place where so many of us have experienced awakening, have experienced forgiveness, healing, strength, love. Here, in this very place, so many of us have risen to new ways of thinking and living and being. Our sanctuary has been for so many of us our place of transformation, hasn't it? We can even look at the meaning of the word sanctuary, a holy place of refuge, safety, and protection. This building has been a place where literally thousands of us have over the years been resurrected, where we have been set free to rise. It has been that place for me. I arrived at Unity of Delray Beach in 1985 for Easter Sunday. It was during a very dark time in my life, a time when I felt alone, hopeless, helpless, and worthless. And it was right here, in this place, that I healed, where I shed all that baggage that I was carrying unnecessarily, where I discovered who I really was, and where I fell in love with the God of my heart, and where I found my purpose. So I've been thinking a lot about how much this place means to all of us, what it has been for us, a beautiful, protective, peaceful place for us to transform. Not unlike that cocoon where the caterpillar becomes what it truly is. In this place, we are becoming who we truly are. And then there's that powerful metaphor of the tomb. Many of us don't think of the tomb where Jesus laid for 3 days as a holy place of transformation. But within that tomb, the greatest overcoming was taking place. Jesus was teaching us even then that there is great power in darkness, in silence. There is great power taking place in our darkness, in our times of suffering and overwhelming fear, in our times of hopelessness and despair, in those times when we feel we cannot go on with life as we know it. Jesus was teaching us that as we let go, as we surrender, as we allow our old selves to die, Christ rises in us. New life, new awareness, new strength, new power is born. No matter what the circumstances, the resurrecting power of the Christ within us dispels the darkness, heals the wounds, lifts our spirit, and leads us onward. And that massive stone of doubt and fear, denial, despair, heartache, and pain, that stone is miraculously, effortlessly rolled away. The light of the Christ shines through you, revealing the imperishable spirit that is the true you. Things may happen around you, and things may happen to you, but the only things that matter are the things that happen in you. Charles Fillmore often said that his most favorite scripture was from Paul's letter to the Colossians. Christ in you, your hope of glory. Christ in you, your hope of glory. Now, there are a lot of things happening around us right now as we experience many life changes and adjustments. And if there was ever a time when we needed the Easter message, it's right now. I love these words from Unity author and longtime editor of the Daily Word, Martha Smock. And I've shared them before, but I'd like to share them again. And I'd like you to hear them not just for yourself, but for our world. Something in you knows that you are greater than anything you have yet experienced or expressed. This inner knowing, this feeling of potential greatness is the Christ in you trying to break through. It is like sunlight that may be temporarily hidden behind clouds, but the clouds cannot take away the light. Nothing can erase or lessen the bright, glorious, wonderful spirit that is you. There is that within us and within our world, within human consciousness, power that is greater than anything yet experienced. The most wonderful way to celebrate Easter and to celebrate the life of Jesus Christ is to live as Christed beings, to do our best to live as he lived. James Dillett Friedman, the great Unity poet and author of our beautiful prayer for protection, wrote in a piece titled, "The One We All Might Be," these words: "The one we all might be had faith in other people. He saw in them potentialities that others overlooked. He knew them to be capable of more than they themselves thought, and he inspired them to become. The one we might be showed us what life might be, lived to the utmost of its possibility, what a person might be who held to the highest and the best in herself or himself. How hard we find it to love one or two people, yet he showed us that it is possible to learn to love all. The one we might be knew how much a loving heart is worth. He was able to judge not by appearances, able to put first things first, to see how much more important than material treasures are the treasures of heart and mind and spirit. There was one who showed us what we all might be, what heights of fulfillment, what depth of compassion, what breadth of understanding might be ours if we were all that we might be. To love with a love that excludes none, but gives itself to all. To be master of self and superior to circumstance. To be humble of spirit, yet conscious of eternal worth. To be at peace, yet to be a center of energy. To be able to help all who turn to us, to bless the lives we touch, to turn sorrow into joy, hate into love, sickness into health, lack into fulfillment, death into life. This is what and who we all might be. We recognize these possibilities because we have witnessed them throughout our life. Especially these past few weeks, we have witnessed these possibilities, haven't we? As we live in Christ consciousness, we truly are the beautiful light of the world. And we can be this light in the simplest of ways. A kind word, a thoughtful call, a prayer, a forgiving gesture. The Easter story is our human story. It is our personal story. It is our daily story. And you and I have been through our crucifixion experiences, haven't we? Whether through illness, loss, depression, addiction, gripping fear, loneliness and isolation, and feelings of unworthiness. We and our loved ones with us have experienced the pain and suffering of endings, necessary endings for new beginnings. We must always remember that a crucifixion was necessary for there to be a resurrection. In my own life, it has been the most painful and frightening experiences that have led to my most beautiful awakenings. And looking back, I wouldn't trade the pain, because through it, I have experienced more love, more light, more inner peace than I could have ever imagined. Resurrected, we are more powerful, more loving, more giving, more aware, and much more present for ourselves and for those that we love. The love that we are is greater than any loss, any diagnosis, any fear, even death. As Emmett Fox so profoundly put it, love is the greatest power in the universe and the greatest power in you. There is a spirit in us that is leading us Godward, leading us Christward. The transformations that we experience, the awakenings we have, the change in feeling and attitudes and beliefs are happening because we are becoming ourselves. We are becoming who we truly are. Spiritual awakening isn't changing who you are, it is becoming who you are. We just don't know that's who we are, often because someone or something has told us different. So we can let those old beliefs go, and we can rise up to a new and improved way of being. I love this quote. We see how relentlessly the Spirit of God in us has carried us forward, sometimes in spite of ourselves. God does for us what we can't or won't do for ourselves. How often we don't realize it's time to grow. It's time to rise. It's time to fly. Mark Nepo wrote this beautiful little story. There was a little nest along the porch with one baby left. And the mother was in the pear tree 20 feet away, calling her to try. All the others had flown, but this one This one was afraid. It fluttered its tiny spray of feathers against the dry nest and cried back softly. This went on for hours and hours. Now the mother calling and the baby resisting seemed no different than our leap to love, to forgive, to risk being our true selves. Soon it seemed as if both were parts of the same soul. The more ancient calling, "You must try." The smaller piping, "I can't, I can't." The older demanding, "You were born for this." The smaller lamenting, "I can't, don't make me." The older insisting, "All things wait on your open wing." And the smaller tensing, "All right, I'll try. I can't, I'll try." The two kept calling from pear tree to nest until the mother's whole purpose seemed to help her child fly. Like that of a mother bird, our inner spirit perches, coaxing an often timid heart to spread and leap where nothing feels firm. I watched this happen not too long ago at my home. Those little babies have no idea what they are capable of, no idea of what power lies in their wings, but their mother knows. How many times have you felt like that bird? Felt incapable of doing what you have been asked to do or what was before you? Perhaps you've been feeling that way even now through these new experiences of life. But you are more than capable. God often pushes us out of the nest through one event or another, and then we rise. We fly. Trust God in you. A bird sitting on a branch is never afraid of the branch breaking because its trust is not in the branch. The trust is in its own wings. Through the crucifixion and resurrection experiences, Jesus taught us the need to always trust. To trust God, to love, to forgive. Jesus' last living words were moving past the human to the divine, to his Christ. He left us with words of love. And that is what truly changed the world. Can you even imagine Jesus' last words being those of anger or blame or unforgiveness? No. Even in those moments facing unspeakable pain and in the face of such hatred, he was showing us the power of the Christ. That power is a real power in you if you but turn to it, if you believe in it, and if you love it dearly. Many years ago, I had an opportunity to attend a week of continuing education classes in Atlanta. It was at the Unity in Atlanta, and it's always a wonderful experience to travel to another Unity church and meet fellow travelers on this beautiful path. It was a great week, and while I was there, I had an opportunity to meet an amazing woman. She was 94 and still so eager to learn. She had brought many very old copies of treasured Unity literature and books to give, to pass on to those who would appreciate them. Her 3 daughters did not attend Unity, and she wanted to make sure that the writings that she loved so dearly would be left to those who felt the same. As a Sunday school teacher, I had my eye on the Wee Wisdom magazine, We Wisdom, if some of you remember, was a publication for children, and I knew it growing up. So she gave me the Easter issue, 1903. Can you believe it? And I have it right here. I have it here because affirmations of truth are timeless. From 1903. The risen, living Christ is within me. I love its presence and will let it love me into all good. The risen, living Christ is within me. I love its presence and will let it love me into all good. Are you loving the presence of the risen, living Christ in you? Are you letting that presence love you into all the good you deserve? Are you spending time with that presence? Are you seeking that presence? Are you beholding that presence in yourself, in others? Are you listening to that presence? Are you living as that presence? Think about it. Ask yourself those questions. I want to read today's daily word to you. It's just so perfect. I recognize the risen Christ in family, friends, and my spiritual community. Early in the evening on the day of resurrection, Jesus, unrecognized, joins two of his followers as they journey from Jerusalem toward the nearby village of Emmaus. Accepting an invitation to stay and share a meal, Jesus takes bread, blesses it, breaks it, and then gives it to his hosts. In that moment, their eyes are opened. They recognize Jesus. And alive in their hearts, he vanishes from their sight. Later, the two explain to others how the risen Christ became a living presence to them in the fellowship of breaking bread. Easter celebrates the risen Christ, an immortal presence, freed from all limitation, awaiting discovery in every person and in every life event. I recognize the risen Christ in shared experiences with family, friends, and my spiritual community. The risen Christ, the immortal presence freed from all limitation, awaiting your discovery in every person, in every life event, in every breath you take, in every prayer you pray. We have received so many messages over the last few weeks from you, whether it has been on our answering machine, through letters, on our website, or on Facebook. You have all shared how much you miss each other and how much you miss this place. We are a spiritual family. Nothing can change that. And you are even more dear to me as I stand here and see you, each one of you in your favorite chair. I hear your voice and I feel your hugs. And the voice of Spirit tells us, it's all right. All is well. I am with you. I am for you. And with God for us, nothing can be against us. I'd like to close this morning with a beautiful little reading from the Science of Mind magazine. It's sweet, and it just is beautiful. And it's called Be the Best You. If you are a caterpillar, enjoy it. Eat all you can eat and love every bite. You will notice that very few creatures have as many feet. Because of your efforts and because it is in your nature, you will be called by an inner voice to stop eating and build a retreat. This is when some caterpillars get into trouble. Some worry. They become anxious and wonder if building a retreat is in their best interest. A few think they have lost their mind and just keep eating. The rule is, be the best caterpillar you can be until you are called upon to be something different. Build the best retreat that has ever been built, because you will spend quite a bit of time in darkness. A lot of changes will be taking place, but they are all for the best. In time, your retreat will become a pathway of light. For reasons that no one can explain, you will emerge from your retreat a completely new creature. You will have lost your feet and you will have wings. Don't judge the new you or try to return to habits of the past. Make the best of having wings. Experiment with them. Fly as high as you want. You are and always have been whole, perfect, and totally, beautifully complete. Christ is risen in you. Fly. God bless you, and happy Easter.